Welcome back to Pompey Scrapbook, our YouTube channel where we review old Pompey clips and relive some of the most iconic moments in Pompey history. It's been a while, Tony. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, it has been a while, isn't it? I mean, hard to believe it's about a year, I think, since we've done one of these,
Yeah, we did.
which is a great thing because they're always good fun to do.
Yeah, we didn't manage to do anything last season. I think life was just in the way, wasn't it? Too
It,
much going
it
on.
does get in the way.
Yeah,
It does get in the way at times, yeah. So, but we're back.
but we're back, and we'll have to try and do another one soon. I'm sure there are lots of topics still to cover. So today it's the timing's obvious, isn't it? We're going to have a little look at some of our history against the other team on the south coast just down the road.
Yeah, it's overdue. We should have done this one before, really, shouldn't we? But this seems the perfect time now to look back, doesn't it? And see what we come up with.
And we could even do this again because we've picked 4 games to have a little look at, but there's a lot more than that we could pick. So we will see how we go. It's I think this by many is described as one of the most bitter rivalries in football. Why do we think that's the case?
I I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One is the fact that we don't play that often, and that just the waiting for the next one to come round adds a bit to it. I mean, if you're Celtic and Rangers, which is supposed to be the biggest rivalry, they play each other what 4 or 5 times a season, so it's every couple of weeks they seem to be playing each other. We haven't played, apart from the cup game a few years ago, we haven't played Southampton in a league game for 13 years,
Yeah,
and that just makes it all the more contentious, shall we say, or whatever. The other thing I think is a big thing is the fact that it's two separate cities that are very close together. If you've got two teams from the same city, the people are living together, working together, they're seeing each other every day. When it's two separate cities, two large separate cities, very passionate ones as well,
mm.
it's that adds a bit to it, I do believe.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. Is there anything to do around the? Wasn't there some history about from the past dock workers being on strike in Portsmouth and Southampton workers coming in to cover their work? Is that a thing?
This has always been talked about. Whether it's actually true or not is another matter. The thing scum supposedly came from Southampton City Union men. I don't know if there's any truth in it. Who knows? Certain people that I've asked about it seem to poo-poo it and say it's not really a thing. But it's good. It adds to the story.
Yeah, and if anyone can add to it and tell us some more, stick a comment below.
Definitely.
Okay, so first game up, we're going to go to 1984. So I would have only been 13, and this was my first experience of a derby game. So this was a cup game at Fratton Park. Let's roll it. So tell us who's playing, Tony. We've just seen Biley and Haitley up front. I reckon that's one of Pompey's most potent partnerships we've had.
We had a we had a very good attacking side because apart from Biley and Haitley, you had Alan Rogers on the wing, whose crosses were as good as anyone's,
Yeah,
and then Neil Webb, future England international in midfield with Kevin Dillon,
yeah,
um, Bobby Doyle, who was a good steady player for
yeah.
that time as well.
That was Rogers crossing that, wasn't it?
Yes, Rogers crossing, yeah,
Yeah.
and obviously in goal for them was Shilton, the England keeper. So
Okay.
at that time, defence was our problem. We were struggling in defence, but oddly enough, that wasn't the problem here.
No, I'm going to spin us on a bit. It's a corner.
Looking back on this game from after what 40 years, I'd just forgotten how many decent chances we had. We should never have lost this game, really. Oh, I've given it away, haven't
Yeah, so
I? And there's Alan Bowley. Look at that. Oh,
not what you'd normally expect from Alan Biley. That.
Well, if you think about Biley from when at the time, the 2, 3 years he was with us, anything around there, 6 yard box, he was deadly. He would always hit the target, and there he's just,
Yeah.
for some reason, why?
So we've moved this game on a bit. Free kick to them over in the corner. You can already see there the Saints players are picking things up off the floor, and there's a load of coppers in that corner. So it's kind of a sign of things to come.
Obviously, there is the corner, is the section where the two sets of fans come closest together, and
Yeah.
it's amazing to look how packed in the crowd is. There was literally was no room in the ground. It was so packed.
Yeah. So really, it's the same footprint as is used at Fratton Park now, but this had 36,000 in it, as opposed to our
Yep.
capacity now, which is like 21. Obviously, it's seated,
Yeah.
and you can see
Oh,
well, something
Mark
happened
Dennis
to
has
Mark
taken
Dennis.
one in the back of the neck.
He was quite a fiery player, wasn't he, Mark Dennis?
He was, yeah. He's one of the ones in the like Julian Dix mould, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, always like to get involved with the other team, get involved with the crowd.
Yeah, he clearly
He
got
got
involved
involved with
with
the
the
crowd.
crowd quite well there.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely packed. And I just think it's different. I've watched this. Obviously, we're not doing it with audio because we're chatting through it, but listening to it, there's obviously a fiery atmosphere and there's a singing, but it's not the same as it is today. You get games at Fratton
No.
Park now, and um, the whole ground.
Oh,
So it's
good
different
save,
here.
Murphy. Yeah, yeah, it was different in those days because nowadays it's all a little bit orchestrated, isn't it, with the drum and the musical instruments that every club seems to have now.
Yeah.
Though these days the supporters had their voices and their hands to clap, and that was it really. So Kevin Dillon there on the charge. Well done, Nighty. Good save here, keeping us in it.
So we've jumped on a little bit. I think we're getting to the last 5 minutes or so of the game now.
Yeah, this is down towards the end. We're looking for that goal, attacking the Fratton end, and oh,
Uh,
Neil Webb.
we're not sure if it's a shot or a cross, but
I don't think he knew either, did he?
no,
Oh.
I can't.
We were. I'm not sure where you were in the ground, but we were at the back of the Fratton end, and
I was
this was
right.
one of those.
I was right down behind the goal.
This is one of those incidents where from the back of the Fratton end, and everybody starts to pour forward as the shot comes in, thinking it might be heading in, but
Uh, Something I'll always remember because I was right behind the goal, and it's a bit different to these days for multiple reasons. Is there was some bloke who kept throwing cigarettes at Peter Shilton, so I think you'd
it's
get
likely
kicked
to.
out quite quickly for doing that these days, and also you wouldn't be smoking in the ground.
No, true. There's another
Oh,
one.
that was the chance, wasn't it?
Biley again. Oh, this wasn't one of his great days. When you think back to some of the stuff he's done for us, or
Yeah,
did for us. You look at this though, Alan Rodgers on the left wing was basically left footed, puts this cross in with his right foot, and it's still perfect.
yeah, it's pretty good.
But oh,
So
Biley.
as we come to the conclusion of this game, the other thing I remember is that hadn't Steve Moran had an incident when they played a game in Europe
He did. He did.
with a allegedly with
And
a
it,
Swedish lady.
yes, indeed. Yeah,
So
and
he
they
was
were actually
he was getting grief for
were they?
that along the lines of singing a song of Steve Moran, what's it like to get friendly with a Swedish lady, that kind of song. So it was kind of written in the stars that he'd score the bloody winner, wasn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, I know. Just once that Biley miss had happened, I was in at the back, and we were working out who was going to come over and get tickets for the replay.
I
Uh, we should have known better, shouldn't we?
don't know why.
David Armstrong. David Armstrong, even though he played for them, he was a useful player. That's a good ball in. And Moran, that's the difference. Moran had his one chance and put it in.
He did. So yeah,
41 years, 41 years ago, and it still hurts. It still hurts.
Yeah. So that was my first derby game, and I just think as well we talked about the reasons why the rivalry is quite strong. There's been a few tasty games like that. No, that one hurts for us, and we've had a few wins that hurt for them. So I just think it adds to the
Yeah.
mix, doesn't it?
One of the things we said earlier about the fact that we don't play that often, and after that, well, before that, we hadn't played them for 8 years in a competitive game, and it was another 3 years before we played them again. So you had a lot of time to stew on the fact that we'd lost to them
Yeah.
in the last.
Okay, so after that, Pompey over the next few years brought in Alan Ball as manager and managed to get out of the second division into the first. And then so 87 we would have played them in a 2-2 at Fratton.
2-2 draw at Fratton, yeah. Vince Hilaire goal and Clive Whitehead, who we'd signed at the start of that season.
Yeah.
We were 1-0 up and then came 2-1 down and then came back to draw, which kept everybody happy. 2-2.
Yep.
We'll take that.
And then we won't forget the date, the 3rd of January 1988. We went to the Dell, and I think probably fair to say they were favourites to beat us that day.
Yeah, they were clearly favourites. Yeah, they were the established Division 1 team. We were the new boys trying to stay up. Yeah, we went over there as underdogs. And I remember we all went across. I think you came with us. We were on the Red Funnel ferry.
Yeah.
Just happily travelling over with the local Southampton fans who were quite happy and quite buoyant going over. I seem to remember. And I think, if I'm right, coming back, I don't think we saw many of them.
Yeah. So there's not much action. There's not much action from this. So
Well, I think it's worth saying that we went for years thinking there was no action from this, and then these two clips to the goals suddenly appeared, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, somewhere like that.
yeah.
And it's pretty grainy footage, but it is there.
Yeah. So we're 16 minutes in.
So we've got a throw in going on down here.
Are these the South Coast Fiat shirts?
They are, yes.
Yeah. That was always one of my favourite shirts. Got it now.
It's cleared out here, and it comes to Barry Horne, who's just hovering on the edge of the box. There he is. And stabs it in.
So Welsh international, wasn't he, Barry Horne?
He was, yeah.
And of course went to play for them, didn't he?
He did about a year later, and there we all are on the Archers Road end, jumping around. We're in there somewhere.
I don't remember whereabouts we were stood.
We were just somewhere in there, but yeah, that's about as much as I can remember. The interesting thing is to note is how quickly everybody gets back in position.
Yeah,
there was none of the orchestrated. Let's go in the corner and all do a little dance after we score a goal.
No, none of that.
But quick, take your hands and back and get going with the game again.
So we're now 23 minutes gone.
Terry Connor races through.
And that's Terry Connor.
Takes it really well there.
Job done. And I don't really remember much else from the game. I presume we must have defended fairly well and kept them out.
The one thing that sticks out in my mind is the fact that playing up front for them was Colin Clark, who 2 years later would be playing for us. And he probably had 3 or 4 really, really good chances and just put them wide or over the bar. And second half, I think we just defended very well, as you said, and sucked the life out of them. Really, 90 didn't have a lot to do, and it was in the end it was a fairly comfortable 2-0 win. And other thing that sticks in my mind is huge cheers and applause from the Pompey fans when Mick Kennedy played a back pass from the other half, which was yeah. Let's cheer that. That's brilliant stuff.
What do we think for them of the Dell versus St Mary's?
Oh, I much preferred the Dell. The Dell was a real old ramshackle ground, but it had a bit of atmosphere, a bit of character about it. St Mary's is just like any other new build stadium now.
I mean, I think you would say for them, I mean, St Mary's gives them a decent capacity, doesn't it? Is it about 30?
Yeah, 32 in it.
But the number of
Yep.
comments you get when I watch videos from other teams, the comments I get about teams when they come to Fratton and the atmosphere, and I just don't really feel like Saints have ever really replicated that in St Mary's. No.
I don't think they have. As time goes on, and it will, I guess, because there'll be less and less people who remember the Dell, and it will just be their home will be St Mary's. And I guess the same would happen if we ever moved. Initially, it would be, oh, it's nothing like Fratton, but then eventually people will stop to remember what Fratton was like. But hopefully, it never happens with us. Hopefully, it doesn't.
So that was in '88. How did that season unfold for us, Tone?
Well, that day, on the 3rd of January, we were top of the world. We were cock a hoop. Everything was great. And then 24 hours later, our captain was sold, Mick Kennedy, who was the heartbeat of the team. For some reason, Deacon decided that he needed to cash in and sell Mick Kennedy to Bradford City, who were a division below us. So it set the life out of the team. I know it's crazy. Look back at it now; it's crazy. If we'd sold him to a club who were above us, then you could understand it. But we sold him to a team that were below us in the league, a division below us,
Yeah.
and it sucked all the life out of the team, I think. And in the end, the relegation that came at the end of the season seemed almost inevitable, which was a great shame after all of those efforts over 2 or 3 seasons to get there.
Okay. So next game we're going to go to 2005. So it sees us meet them in the Premier League. I remember this game and seeing them. The clip we're going to watch is a bit of a mishmash, but I remember seeing them in the tunnel and coming out on the TV coverage, and I think it's fair to say they didn't look up for it.
No, they didn't. I mean, the backdrop of this was the fact that Harry Redknapp and Jim Smith had walked out on Pompey 2, 3 months earlier and gone down the road to them, and that is not the wisest thing to do. I mean, you're not going to be forgiven very quickly. I mean, when Harry came back to us, how long did it take for him to get forgiven then? And he was our manager, and we had a good team then.
Yeah.
So it was always going to be, shall we say, a live atmosphere, and it really did seem to affect their players. If you look, they just did not look up for the fight.
I think
Whereas we had,
I think the word you used when we talked about it was they were shit scared, Tony.
yeah, basically, yeah. Whereas we had the likes of Matt Taylor and Richard Hughes, who were really up for it and were going to dive in and make every challenge count.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that it comes through in the performance. I think it's a really ropey performance from Antti Niemi in goal for them. Just they looked a bit all over the place. I wonder how many Pompey fans, before we put the clip on, would know who was the Pompey manager for that day.
That's a very good question, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay,
We won't mention it for now.
so here we are, Premier League action, the demolition derby.
Oh, I love that phrase.
So this video does jump around a bit, but who we got here? Steve Stone, Dejan.
I saw that. Ariane Dezou, there's the manager.
Who is?
Alain Perrin.
Judas.
He's a bit better known, that manager.
I bet Harry Redknapp couldn't believe that he came to Fratton and that's what happened.
Oh, look, Rupert Lowe. There you go. Matty Taylor. You.
Berger over that free kick. Stefanovic.
Yeah, Stefanovic.
It was a good Pompey side. That was Jamie Redknapp for them.
Yeah.
We had a lot of chances this day, Tone, didn't we?
We did, yeah. We should have won by far more than we actually did. Oh, good save there.
And it's like we said in the lead up to it, they just coming onto the pitch, warming up, they looked scared that day.
Yep.
Niemi had a shocker.
Giving away the penalty. Yakubu there with the goal.
That was the first goal.
The second one, an Arian Dazoo header.
No. The third goal was all Niami's fault, I think.
Oh, there's their
Oh.
one back quickly.
Yes, there's
And then
Niami gone walkabout and LuaLua sorts it out.
Richard Hughes introducing himself to.
And that's
And then
all in half an hour, isn't it?
it is, yeah, it's hard to believe that this all happened in, I think it was about 28 minutes. That there'd been 5 goals. The game was over. LuaLua had done 20 somersaults and then got injured and had to go all within the first half hour.
Yeah.
And the second half, we had so many chances. Didn't couldn't take any of them. Otherwise, it should have been 7, 8, up to 10 easily. But
Yeah. Considering some of the other stuff that had gone on, but that was a fantastic day.
it was a great day.
4-1. What a nice scoreline, 4-1, isn't it, Tom?
Familiar scoreline. I heard it somewhere before, haven't we?
Okay, so from that game, let's bring back the old Pompey cards. So we've got one here for Mr. LuaLua. The flag is the Democratic Republic of Congo, of course.
Pretty sure that safely say that that's the only player we've had from the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yeah. Um, he was a live wire for Pompey, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, he was a good player. I remember when he came on loan from Newcastle, and all I could think of at the time was, isn't he that player who, when he scores a goal, he does loads of somersaults? Which, of course, was the case, but there was more to him than that. He was a good player, and he formed a really good partnership with the Yak for a few years. And one other thing to remember is that LuaLua was actually the player responsible for a change in the rule where loan players could no longer play against their parent club.
Okay. That's because he played against Newcastle, I guess.
He played and scored a last-minute equaliser against Newcastle, and Sir Bobby Robson wasn't happy, and the rule got changed.
So only 5'8", 91 games for Pompey, 19 goals, 31 games for Congo, giving him an 83 for his Pompey power. We happy with that?
Yeah, it seems fair enough. He was never a totally prolific goal scorer, and a few of those 91 games, I dare say, would have been substitute appearances. So he was always like never the out and out striker, usually the second striker.
I
But
think
that's a decent record.
he's one of those players got to be in the mood. You know, like
Yeah, yeah,
like a winger that can disappear from a game. I think LuaLua could be a bit like that.
yeah. He's very, very definitely like that. Yeah,
Not like
but good.
this chap who was probably a bit more dependable. So
Well, yeah.
Yakubu,
You look at that record. That is, what was it 92 appearances, 42 goals,
yeah,
and about 14. I think we worked out about 14 of those appearances were in the promotion season from the Championship. So that is, apart from that, those 14, that is Premier League appearances.
yeah.
And that is a very, very impressive record, isn't it?
I looked up the goal scoring lists in the Prem, and for the first 5 seasons that he played in the Premier League, so a couple of seasons for us, and then going to Middlesbrough, and every one of those seasons he was in the top 10 goal scorers in the Premier League. So that's some going for a team that, for a lot of those years wasn't strong. And
It is.
I don't suppose Middlesbrough were when he went there either.
They would have been a bit more established as a Premier League team than we were, but not a great deal.
Mm.
But when people talk about great goal scorers in the Premier League, they always go back to Shearer and Henry and Harry Kane in recent years. And the Yak always flies under the radar a bit. But you look at that record, it's very, very impressive.
Yeah. And I remember the first time seeing him play for us, I think it was against Derby, and I remember saying something that looked like he was riding around on a motorbike because he was about twice as fast as everyone else on the pitch. And
Yeah,
that,
he,
that's
he certainly
that's
had a
where his
bit of
goals
pace.
came from, wasn't it?
Yep, it was. Yeah, he certainly had a bit of pace. And also worth noting, he was one of the very few players who never missed from the penalty spot.
Okay.
I can't say for other teams, but certainly for us, he never did. I think his record was 8 out of 8, and Yeah.
So I remember
If you got
another
a penalty,
game.
you knew he was going to score.
So as we're on him, just wanted to touch on any other games. We're going to go in a minute to the FA Cup game at St Mary's. But any other games we want to briefly mention? We've mentioned the 2-2 in the First Division. Yakubu scored a winner in a 1-0 at Fratton.
He did the
Well,
season before. Yeah, that was a crucial game because we were in real danger of relegation at the time,
mm,
and that 1-0 win with Ikubu's goal in the second half lifted us, and we then went on a big run of winning some games and getting enough points to comfortably stay in the league. When it looked at one stage we could well be relegated.
yeah.
So
And another one it's not all in our favour, of course. A couple that stick in my mind. I went to the Dell when a mate of mine got me a ticket, sat in the Saints stand, and we lost 3-0 when Paul Walsh was playing. That was a
yeah,
miserable day.
I remember that one as well. Yeah, it was not a good day at all.
No,
So,
and we had an FA Cup game at St Mary's where Peter Crouch scored the winner for them.
yep, yep, a late penalty. That was Harry Redknapp had just gone to them then, so that stoked the fires a little bit more for that game that we've just seen, the 4-1 game, I think.
And I was stood right in the last couple of Pompey seats as well, with them right next to me. So that was a tricky day as well.
Yeah,
So we move on to our last game today, 2010 Cup game. So they were in League One and were on the rise, weren't they? They were quite strong in that league and had sorted themselves out. We
yeah,
uh,
they,
we were rock bottom of the Premier League and on our way down.
yeah. We'd been bottom of the Premier League. I think we actually may well have been bottom of the league the whole season. We were bottom from the very start. They didn't get promoted from League One actually. That came the following season, but they'd gone through their dodgy spell and were starting to come back. And they were a team in form, even though it was League One. We were a team that were basically rubbish.
Yeah,
So it was a nervous draw, to be honest.
yeah, and you know, Saints fans I know were quite confident, shall we say, and giving it large before that game. It's fair to say. So we'll pick it up. We'll pick up the second half of this. First half there wasn't a lot, but
JMO spilled one there.
in the first half,
Scored.
David James made a couple of good saves in the first half, didn't he? We could have been down at half time in this.
Yeah, and I think there's another one comes up here. LuaLua comes in with a header, and that's a good save.
Yeah. So
A young,
we
very young looking LuaLua.
we've hung on a little bit. It's fair to say.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair to
What's
say.
that? Is that Pardew?
It was Pardew, yeah. And then all of a sudden, who is that? The lesser known Quincy Owusu-Ubei. Fair to
And
say, his only goal for Pompey.
how many times did he play for Pompey?
We looked it up earlier. He played 11 games, and that was his only goal. But it's not a bad one to get.
Well, it's a peach, isn't it? Very,
If you're gonna,
very calm. Dink.
but if you're gonna get a goal, then get one against your local rivals in a cup game.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. But it didn't all go our way because a couple of minutes later, future England international Ricky Lambert.
Never liked him. I guess that means he was good for them because I didn't like him. The new Alan Shearer, wasn't he?
And he was, yeah, and yeah, 1-1, and it's all back in the melting pot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Don't they give a disallowed goal? Don't they? Is that now or is that when it's 2-1?
no, that's after it gets to 2-1, but
Okay.
we break out here. The noticeable thing about this is all our goals second half came like this break. And that I guess was the difference from Premier League players to League One. Even though we were bottom of the league,
That was Dindan, wasn't it?
that Dindan, he was a good player. Dindan.
What nationality was he?
He's oh, that's a good question. Is he Nigerian?
We'll look him up in a minute. Good goal, good finish.
Yeah, keeper Kelvin Davis got a hand to it, but well, got a foot to it actually. And I think this will now be the disallowed goal. Yeah, miles
Clearly
offside.
offside, wasn't he?
Bad luck.
Oh, don't swear.
Well done, Liner. There's a question here. Actually, if he'd have let it go, would it have gone in?
Well, we'll never know, will we?
We will never know. Yeah. And then they're putting on the pressure, and yet again, I'm pretty sure it comes here from a quick breakout.
That was brilliant. That was a brilliant ball by O'Hara.
Yeah.
And Bell gives the keeper the eyes, doesn't he?
Yes. And you see it from behind, and you see how much Davis falls for it. Ah, good old Avram.
Avram Grant, yeah. So Belhaj was Algerian?
Algerian, yeah. We had two Algerians, didn't we? We had another one called Yebda. And you look at it, how much room. Oh, look at that. You really see it here. Look, the gap he leaves. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Belhaj was a good player, just a bit of a nutcase at times. And yet again, we're on the break.
Yeah, this was a good game for Jamie O'Hara.
Yeah.
Bosh.
Piquillon laid it back. I think it was Piquillon laid it back.
Yeah, 4-1, and I think with our form going into this, rock bottom of the table, I don't think we could believe it.
No.
What a day!
But then you look logically at it. I mean, you're in the 5th round of the cup. You're a Premier League team. You're playing against a League One team. You just look at that logically. You think, well, yeah, okay, we'll take that.
Yeah. Okay. There we go, Tony. I think that's a fair summary. We weren't too biased, were we? We gave them a win.
I don't think so. We called them Southampton all the way through, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we were pretty fair.
I think we were very fair.
Thank you, Tony.
All right.
That was good to be back, and look forward to the next one.
Yeah, we'll do it again. Do it again, definitely.
Cheers, Tony.